There are growing calls from some European lawmakers to tighten controls on foreign ownership of the bloc's critical transportation infrastructure.
The Chinese firms own stakes in more than 30 European ports, and some EU officials see this as a security concern. William Denselow reports.
These are vital arteries for the European Union. Roughly 75% of goods entering or leaving Europe do so by sea. Europe's major ports handled more than 800 million tonnes of goods in the third quarter of last year alone. Essentials ranging from food and energy to military equipment pass through these maritime gateways, making them potential security targets.
Threats they don't always come in a form of war. The modern threats are even hard to see, like the GPS signal interference, cyber attacks. We have the case as well of the damage of internet undersea cables.
The European Commissioner recently flagged concerns over foreign ownership of what the EU calls critical transport infrastructure, with particular attention on the flow of information through the ports, such as details of sensitive NATO operations. Member of the European Parliament Ana Miguel Pedro is among those calling for tighter regulations.
We need to address not only the capital, but as well the control. Who has the operational access? Who manages the data? Who supplies the port software?
Unease has lately centred on the Chinese firms who have a large footprint across Europe's ports. Companies such as Costco and China Merchants control stakes in over 30 of the continent's biggest terminals. Such investments intensified over a decade ago, encouraged by a European port sector heavily in debt. But a recent report from a Polish think tank suggests a growing anxiety over potential conflicts of interest, given China's unofficial backing of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Konrad Poplavsky is the coordinator for connectivity and regional integration at the Centre for Eastern Studies.
We see that strategic interests are drifting apart, and therefore having an actor or even private entities in a strategic infrastructure under influence of such partner, it's not anymore so sustainable as before.
The port of Antwerp-Bruges is the second largest in Europe and has attracted major investment under China's Belt and Road Initiative. In a statement provided to CNA, the port says a balanced approach is needed when it comes to foreign investment, and the goal should be to effectively detect and prevent undesirable foreign interference without hindering the openness that fuels economic growth. The need to keep trade flows open is echoed by the China Chamber of Commerce to the EU. Its Director of Communication and Research, Lin Liang, says discussions relating to security must be based on facts. Last year, EU-China trade stood roughly at $970 billion, or about a third of global GDP.
First of all, they were transparent. Secondly, they were compliant to the EU and national level laws. So we should not ignore the facts. And thirdly, as I said, so it's very important to distinguish and not to politicize the business sector and the trade sector.
The US and China have clashed over influence in the Panama Canal in recent months, heightening concerns over maritime transport infrastructure. The issue of foreign ownership of ports is increasingly on the radar of European officials. Some lawmakers are now pushing for perceived strategic vulnerabilities to be addressed over the coming months. William Denselow, CNA, in Antwerp.